I pulled Archangels and Alpha prayer, and that got me praying that people might actually find the stream and that the stream would go well and that we'd have a nice open channel of spirit communication and plenty of good advice coming from the outer reaches of the universe, the cosmos, wherever it is. Unable to upload thumbnail, well, that's not the worst problem, to be quite honest. There may not be a thumbnail on this, guys, but do you care? I'm not entirely sure I do. It is very good, actually, for a YouTube video to have a decent thumbnail, but what are you going to do about it? We can't do anything when the forces are headed in the other direction. That's the message I'm taking from the whole situation this weekend, because I have not been able to live stream very much anywhere unless it was the middle of the night, very early in the morning. There we go. Let's pull a card anyway. Let's just pull a card and talk about a card, because they're beautiful things with beautiful meanings and beautiful images. And although there's nobody watching yet, I'm sure that people will be watching this when it's actually posted to my channel as a video. And here's a beautiful card, a peaceful card, and something of an olive branch situation going on for you. If you're drawn to this, this is Archangel Azrael, and look at that beautiful dove. It's almost like a chakra tree, isn't it? Except that the balls of light, the orbs are in there, aren't actually a chakra color. So a very powerful image, very profound image, and the sun is absolutely blazing out from behind this dove. That's what I'm looking at. And this is the value of peace and love. We talk about, peace and love going together. It was a sort of hippie thing, but they really do go together. Peace and love go together. Love and light go together. All three go together. And so after the peace of the dove, there is the sun shining, and this is what happens when we bring peace into our lives as much as we can. The sun begins to shine. We can only try and make peace with some people. Some people just don't want to have peace made with them, basically, which is unfortunate. And this often happens around families, and it's one of the most tragic things that I come across as a spiritualist medium is when someone wants to get in touch. It can actually be either way. Maybe somebody in this life wants to get in touch with somebody in the next life, or maybe someone in the next life taps me on the shoulder and sends me off to meet somebody. But it's very often to do with family conflict that had never been resolved when the person passed away. And they thought, well, we've got forever, or we've got the rest of our lives, at least, shall we say, to sort this out, to sort this argument out, and perhaps to be able to walk through life together as friends. And that is really important for reasons that I'll come to. That's what people hope for, even in the most appalling arguments, you usually find, and hello to you, whoever's watching, you usually find that these arguments are as poignant as they are because of the vast amount of love in a family which suddenly becomes disrupted. Maybe not because of the black sheep of the family's fault, but that's, there's always a black sheep of the family, or there usually is. If there isn't, then that's a very good family indeed, if you ask me. But the thing to do is make peace and see the happiness and the light coming out, which it does all the time, or everywhere around you in the world. Even in the most appalling situations, there's some light there. Sam, hello, it's you. Is it Sam? Oh, hello. I'm really glad you're here, because I don't know, it just, if you really wanted to be here, I really wanted to connect with you, and YouTube just wasn't doing it. It's doing it a bit now. I haven't actually been cut off. This is it's either my fourth or my fifth attempt. I don't know. I've had a good few goes at it tonight anyway. So, right, well, I don't know if you saw this card, Sam, but I shall briefly kind of do a bit more on this before I try to launch into any readings, because also around this is the purple, the dark blue, which has everything to do with spiritual connection. Here is a sodalite, a big lump of raw sodalite that I always have around me, and I always work with as a crystal when I'm trying to link to the spirit world, when I'm trying to connect, basically, because it's a stone of connection, and essentially that's because it's a color of connection. When I worked in a crystal shop, which is a fantastic way to understand crystals, or at least to raise your understandings of crystals, we found again and again that it was the colour vibration that really mattered, and we reached the point where we sort of were beginning to think that if you just bought a beautifully coloured glass ball, even if it had been made in a factory, made in a soulless, lifeless kind of a way, shall we say, that would actually bring you what you were hoping to manifest from a crystal, if it had the colour vibration that you wanted. Because crystals do work on a vibration, that's the bottom line. And so, if you've been drawn to this card tonight at all, or today, or whenever it is in the future when you're watching this, is it from another planet? I think it probably is, yes. I mean, because look, it's a dove, and it's just, that's a very good point, because where is the peace in this planet anymore? It's almost as if there's any peace somewhere, there has to be some way of destroying it somehow. I know it's not that kind of deliberate, and it's maybe not that intentional. I don't subscribe to many conspiracy theories. I do subscribe to some, because I'm sure some of them are real, but there's always hope. There's really, truly always hope, and I'm always very strongly aware that there's some kind of divine force. I can't say what it is, but it's there, it's with us, and it's making life tick. So we get to the question then of, why does life keep ticking in such a way if we've got some kind of plan for good to come into life? And it does seem all about bringing a light into dark, so good into situations that may not be evil, but just that aren't good for people, that aren't happy for people. It's all about that. How can it be this way? It's really difficult to see why it would be that way. And it's one of the big spiritual questions. Someone asked the Dalai Lama of Tibet about it. 20, 30 years ago now, I think this story came out. Why do good things happen to us? Why do bad things happen to good people? Was really the question. And the Dalai Lama said, you'll find the answer in your heart. And, it is one of those answers that I think we slowly can come to know and to understand if we're trying to follow the spiritual path. But even if we're not, life shows us things, don't we? A medium I know was an ambulance man, and so he had a very practical approach to life and death and to saving life. He was also an excellent medium. But I don't know, he always felt that it would be better if someone had their life in this world, and he would always fight so hard to save them, because that was his job. Bravery and a good witness in this world as well. So Sam, you've got some moldavite. That is a terrific stone, actually. We got 2 or 3 little bits of it in the crystal shop once, and people travelled from all around this area to get it once the word was out, because it is very, very cosmic, actually, isn't it, moldavite? It's that real link to the green energy that's stored in the earth, but whatever that is, whatever answers that out there in the cosmos, which I guess is pretty much all the cosmic energy, because it is all one, it is all part of one, and by having that stone, it links you directly to it, in that way that you want to be linked, in that way that makes sense to you. I see 1 or 2 more people are joining. This is rather good. And I do have some cards here, so if anybody would like me to pull a card, I will. I pulled that last one before anyone was watching, so I don't know if that was for anyone in particular. Garden plants, yes, I'm here indeed. And Sam, yes, it is pretty amazing stone, isn't it? Yes, really is. It went missing at one point, and we were really worried, because I don't know, it just seemed like the wrong affirmation to lose a thing like that somehow. But we found it again, and then we sold it, so we lost it in another sense. But the energy found its goal, and the energy always does find its goal. And I've just pulled another card just randomly. I didn't actually mean to pull it, but it fell out of the deck, and it's forgiveness. So again, if any of you are drawn to this, do take a look and do have a think about it. We've got this very light turquoisey image here, excuse me, with a very peaceful, very kind of loving expression on this angel's face, on the heart, with fire all around it. And this is the energetic balance of things, and this is why it's so important to be able to speak your truth. And it comes into the whole idea of peace as well, because forgiveness can't really happen until people have actually spoken their truth, actually said, what is the problem? A relationship of mine broke up years and years ago now, and The most difficult thing about it for me was that she wouldn't tell me what I'd done. She just said, "Well, that says it all, doesn't it?" And I'm still not sure what it said. There we go. It wasn't meant to be, but I wonder what would have happened if we'd actually been able to talk about it. If I could have known what I'd done or what she maybe feared that I might do, I could have made some progress. And maybe, as well as making progress in that relationship, I could have made some progress with me as well. Super important thing, but the words weren't spoken, so the healing didn't come. And it's so important because no one can forgive anyone if they don't know what they're supposed to have done. And sometimes we think, well, it should be really obvious to that person what they've done, or it should be really obvious to God what's wrong with our present situation, or something should be kind of obvious to people that isn't. And it's just because the truth hasn't been spoken. Very often, for the best of reasons, actually, it can be a very, very valuable thing to just keep quiet, not to say anything about a thing, let it pass, move on, because particularly where friends are involved, we know we'll be at another place a little further down the line in a week's time, maybe a bit more than that. Somehow, sometime we'll be in the place to actually have a conversation and make it good again. So we try not to fall out. Absolutely wonderful, but it's a shame if things get swept under the carpet. I always really think that. The third eye is a big part of that. This lady actually has it marked. Tony Carmine Salerno, who painted this deck, very often portrays, as he has done here, the third eye as a cross. People are always looking for help, looking for answers. Sometimes people sometimes people actually do feel that they know the answer, but simply want confirmation of it. And again, speaking the truth makes things happen. If you're doing any kind of spiritual work, if you're a peace worker or a light worker, a healer, a medium, a psychic, whatever you do that's around bringing healing, it's so important to get those words out. You know, turquoise is a really valuable colour when it comes to that. I believe it's a valuable stone, and I do believe that the stones have a great deal of magic about them. But at the same time, it's that colour vibration that really matters, and it's actually the fact, that the crystal is so intensely imbued with that ability to vibrate at exactly that color frequency that it does the work it does. Color is simply how we see that kind of vibration. Hearing is another way we perceive vibration, but not by seeing it, but it becomes real. Some people can close their eyes and actually see music as things moving about. Synesthesia. Hello, everyone. I notice a few people are joining. Great to see people. Madeline J. Great. Yeah. Wonderful. It's great to see people coming in and everything. How are you, garden plants? We haven't spoken much since the other day because the clock thing has been happening. The clock thing is still very much on. I made a pointer for it today, a hand. But that is a real bit of technical advancement for me, although it's taken me back to the 13th century original clockmakers. Getting bits of aluminium strip and things that don't weigh much really to go around so it'll stay in balance and it won't overstress the movement. And I can't resist coming back to a topic that's so close to my heart, which is spirituality, divinity, and the cosmic influences on all our lives. It's all part of that. Any kind of new venture, anything like that, that takes a bit of extra time that most people wouldn't bother doing, I feel lifts me because it's special to me. It has a meaning for me, and we all need to find things that have that meaning for us. And again, forgiveness, it has to come in a way that has meaning for us. Otherwise, hearts just aren't healed the same way. It's just the way it goes. It really is. But look at this card and look at the fire around the heart. And this is what I want to get to, the energy balance. I've changed my backdrop tonight to yin and yang because I just knew this energy balance thing was in the air and was going to be coming up. We've just had the Libra time and we've come into a Scorpio weekend. So we're all no doubt aware of that sudden change of things. I have to keep leaning over. Here we go. You like that? Well, I will get to some tarot. I do a bit of both, It depends who I'm pulling a card for. I mean, I guess if I was to pull a card for you, you would probably like a tarot card. And I can, yeah. Okay, I certainly will. I certainly will. Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, not a problem. It also says kind of Doreen Virtue and stuff. I have several decks of different cards here, and I move from one to the other. People can ask for a deck or a style of reading, or I just go with what the spirit guides tell me. But Madeline J, let's just do a reading for you. I'm going to use the Radiant Rider Waite at this moment because it's all nice and fresh, and it's sitting here and it caught my eye. Nothing has dropped out yet. They were dropping out like wildfire last week. I could barely control these card decks. And it's just sort of hammering me with cards all the time. So I'd ask for a card and I would find it straight away. But here we go. And it's the Page of Cups, and this is for Madeline J. Now then, first of all, let me hold it up. You may know all about. I have a feeling you know the tarot pretty well, actually, but it's just always worth holding the thing up. Nicola, hi to you. Thanks for joining me. This is great. We've got people joining. The community is knitting itself together. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, a lot of my family left from Sunderland, I come from, and a lot of my family left and went to Toronto, which is a great place. Anyway, yes, Madeline J. Sorry, the Page of Cups. Now, we know the traditional tarot meanings for this, but when I do a reading, I'm always asking for spirit guides to come in and around and help me with this. And so I go with the feeling I get from the card and where that's actually taking me. And the image in this that's really appealing to me and jumping out at me for you, Madeline J, is the sea here. You know, the sea. We could see that as, you know, any kind of journey across water, a river, drink more, anything like that. But I do really feel that we actually are looking at the sea here, the actual physical, real sea. I feel that somebody in the spirit world would be far away from you, in a sense that they would seem to be at sea. There's something about the sea in a way that somebody passed. And I know that if you have any association with the sea at all, you will feel more strongly connected to that person. And I feel also that's going to bring a great deal of grounding. And I'm also looking at the fish sticking out of the cup. And I'm just wondering what that's all about. And so is he. This is the thing. This is what the page is doing. He's looking at it. I guess he knows what he's about because he's the page of something, you know. He's in that place in the suit where there is knowledge. There is actually a fair bit of power, but not the ultimate power. So he does have that. He's got his flowery tunic on there, but they're not the kind of flowers that you see growing in the ground, are they? They're representational. They're kind of fabricy, and because the images in this are so old, I'm really going to say that they're representational. And it's the point at which art and nature come together, join together. And so I'm seeing a connection there as well. I feel there's something coming in from the spirit world. I'm not entirely sure of it yet, but there is a lot of turquoise here. There is a lot of speak your truth. And I feel that to be able to move forward at all, Madeline, you're going to have to try and accept what's in your cup. We can get stuck with something we didn't really want to have. It very often happens. It's a bit like buying something off eBay and then it comes and it's just the last thing you expect. The spiritual journey can seem to take us that way. Life can seem to take us that way. But the rough seas in that scenario are all very much to do with just non-physical things, influences that can actually affect us to the point that they come into our lives and make our lives actually be affected and be really influenced so that things happen in the real world as a direct result. Oh, it's suddenly gone mad in your house. No, well, do watch it again though, okay? Because it will be uploaded to watch in the future. So where am I going with this? I'm drawn to these red tights as well, and that's progress, isn't it? That's actually making progress, and I feel that you are making progress in your own life. I feel that you're going forward fairly quickly at the moment, maybe a little bit too quickly. It can become difficult if we go too fast. Often when inspiration comes in, it comes in very quickly, and it's very hard to keep still with it for long enough to let it really take effect. But any kind of divine inspiration, oh, it's getting a bit chilly here. Any kind of divine inspiration at all is on the level of superhuman knowledge, and it takes its time to filter in. That's the truth. I was talking about aliens the other night. Are they bringers of knowledge? Is it God? What is it? I don't know. I have faith that it's God, and I have faith that it's the divine. I believe in aliens, but I have faith that all this information is something divine, something to do with God, and something helping in that way. I really hope so. Anyway, but yeah, we can go much too fast, and then it's because this superhuman knowledge comes in that it becomes so difficult. So don't be afraid to slow down. If there's some wonderful opportunity for spiritual work, it's so tempting to just kind of work 3 days in a row without any sleep to get it done, because you know you'll get to the end of it. But we can spiritually burn out because it really is superhuman knowledge that we're dealing with. I haven't got a clue what I'm saying to people when I'm doing these readings, but I do have trust that it's going to be right, and I believe you can as well, because you're seeing yourself as something as of an artificial flower somewhere in your makeup as not being the real deal, but you really are. You've been given this life, and the impetus you've got, the ideas that are coming to you are, I was going to say heaven sent, and something stopped me. Maybe you're not a heaven person, I don't know, but they're certainly sent in from the outer universe, the outer cosmos. And, you know, the more I do readings, that's all I can really promise that these things come from. But those are the influences that come to me as I look at this card for you, Madeline J. Just do keep looking at what's in your cup, because it is actually going to make some sense to you before very long at all. Right. Well, I'm going to give you that with the love of the universe. I'm going to wish you peace, and I'm going to say love and light to you. Garden plants, yes. Yes, indeed. Right, now then, garden plants. Right, I'm very, very much drawn to this. It was kind of an instant thing. Messages from your animal's spirit guides, and this is for garden plants. You know, I'm going to try and get to as many people as I can, and basically I'm going to keep going till the energy drops. That can be like sort of an hour or so. I work in a spiritualist church. I usually go for about 90 minutes. Does Andy miss me? Oh, now my name's Andy. Maybe I'm the wrong person to answer that. But no, I'm good. Just doing one for garden plants now. Okay, so I'm gonna go quiet and just focus on that for a minute. Shuffle my deck some more and say, please, can I have a card for garden plants? I believe you have a Native American Indian guide around you. Garden plants, that's the first thing I'm going to say, because I felt mine come in quite strongly there, and I felt that was because there's a Native American connection with you. I don't know if you're aware of it. If you're not, you'll be becoming aware of it soon, because someone is reaching out to you from the spirit world on that basis. I hope that won't be any concern at all. Oh, ancient roots, hello. I hope that won't be any concern at all. It can scare people a bit, the thought that, you know, spirit beings are coming into us, but they can't do anything to cause us any real grief in this world. They don't have that physical power. All they can do is help us moderate our mistakes in our own way through life. It is really good, actually. It is really good, because the realization here is that everything we do in our lives is planned. It really is. Hello, Cindy. Nice to see you. So the card I've got for you, garden plants, is dog. And I shall read it. Your loyalty and faithfulness is misplaced by serving too many masters. I think that's going to say more to you than it does to me. But I don't know if you're watching right at the beginning. I was talking about turquoise because there was nobody kind of in the chat room yet, and it's just seemed a good way to get talking. And we have this turquoise colour in the border around this image. Please excuse my filthy fingers. I have a coal and log fire, so in the winter months they're always filthy. You have a dog, you love animals, great. So I've been drawn to a good deck for you then, because, well, this is actually a good deck for just about anyone. Stephen Farmer, who was the husband of Doreen Virtue. He is something else. But look, you see, the dog's becoming fragmented, and it's with the light shining through. So we've got a matter of communication here, and we've got a nice stiff ring here, and this is not stiff, I mean a solid colouring, that's what I'm saying. It's very solid, this darker blue, this blue of connection, and it's surrounded by turquoise. So what we're going to find for you is that you're going to be looking outside of this world. That's the best way to put it. Looking outside of this world for inspiration, and finding it. If you haven't found it already, it's most certainly on its way in, because we can see it's just outside of this peripheral thing here, which is this dark blue light, which is spiritual connection. Do you, I mean, I guess garden plants, I guess, right, if you're watching my channel at all, you must have some real interest in spiritual connection. And that really does feel like what I'm seeing here. But look how fragmented the dog is. This comes back to us. It's the third time this has come up since I've been chatting tonight, actually. The fact that we just can't get too exhausted if we try to do everything that is being asked for us. So many people are asking you to do different things. Your own spiritual life is actually not getting the attention it deserves, but you are doing a great deal of spiritual work for others. If you're a healer, the people who teach just about any tradition of healing teach you to take 10% of the healing energy for yourself, or at least to ask for 10% to come in, because just the effect of that healing being channeled through you and flowing through you is so positive, so uplifting, that it gives a lot. It really gives a lot into your own life. And that's what you need. You need to be doing work that gives you something back. And I believe there's something you do that is actually much more rewarding for you than a lot of other things you spend your time doing. So the advice here is try and just, not just be yourself, but enjoy being yourself. We can feel a bit bad about ourselves sometimes. We really can. Oh, is this for you as well, Cindy? Gosh, we've got a 2 for the price of 1. Wonderful. Okay. Now then, what's all this green? I'm looking at this green in here and I'm thinking garden plants, and I'm thinking also house plants. I feel you would have a lot of house plants around you. But it's about getting outdoors more if you possibly can. I believe that might be difficult for you. There may be a physical problem that prevents you from doing that, because we have been talking about physicality a lot in this reading. So really, can you get outside? If you think about it, I'm being told that there's some place you can go which is really quiet for you, which is outside, and which is not easy for you to find the time to get to, but you're serving too many masters essentially for your own good. You can relate to that. Oh yeah, it's a jungle, is it? My garden is a jungle too. So this is wonderful, because I seem also to have hit the spot for Cindy Larson, and that's great. We sometimes call it a 2 for 1. But if you're listening to any of these readings and you can take it, please take that with the love of spirit, with the love of the universe, because you'll have been drawn here for some reason, and you'll have seen it for that reason as well. Okay, so garden plants, thank you very much for working with me, and thank you for following my videos. Thanks to all of you who follow my videos. Do give me a subscribe if you will. Just while I'm I'll just take a non-psychic minute here in between readings. It helps the energy to build up. This is something that really made me laugh, and I think it might make you laugh as well. About 9 years ago, I reckoned I could probably start a YouTube channel, because I live out in the countryside and we've got, I've got lots of garden plants as well, actually. You're very welcome. Well, thanks. And I really enjoy meeting you and talking with you and everything that we all do together here. I was going to do this YouTube channel, and I called it Andy's Chickens to begin with. And if you look back in my archive about 2 years, there's loads of videos about my chickens, because I've got chickens and a cockerel and everything. And I just thought that would be a hit, and it was not. But I kept getting views, and I just kind of forgot the whole thing for a while. I like watching YouTube. I just thought, I haven't got what it takes to be a YouTuber and make the videos. But then after about 7 years, I just had a look at my channel one day, and yeah, very lol indeed, very lol indeed. One day I took a look at my channel, and the first video I ever made had got 7,000 views on it. And at that time, you only needed 10,000 views, to monetize your channel. Oh, those halcyon days have long passed. Anyway, I've been primping and changing and doing all sorts, and I was sure it was the homesteading thing. I was sure it was the technical details. I was sure it was the woodwork, the workshop, and I was pretty sure that my demographic was oldish men older than me who liked the old tools in a particular way. And I actually just found out last week my demographic is over 99% women who are interested in all the technical stuff, but I've been trying for years to present it as if it was kind of aiming for old men, and the channel hasn't taken off at all. As soon as I realised that and start, just doing what is natural for me, which is the psychic things, those esoteric things are essentially the feminine, and it's brought me much more into balance. It's that yin-yang thing again. It's brought me much more into balance. The masculine and the feminine energy with me are sitting nice. They're sitting really nice, and I'm just so glad about that, because that's taken me forward. So masculine energy, feminine energy, we're always trying to make that happen by being in a couple and giving that couple a name or a status. We're always trying it, but we are directed from outside of this world, I am sure. Nicola, did you ask me for a card a second ago? Nicola Parrington, thanks for watching. It's great to see you when I'm live, because this is another thing about being a YouTuber. You make videos over and over again. You don't really know who you're talking to. That's the bottom line. You don't know who you're talking to. Then you come on live and you actually meet the people. And it's great, because I do get a sense of you, because it's intentionally that I'm going to do psychic readings. That's my plan. Oh, Skye, yes, I remember, in the Isle of Skye, yeah, I well remember. Well, I'm drawn to you again, Nicola. I know there's some people here who haven't had a reading yet, but I'm just drawn to who I'm drawn to. I can never tell who's going to come through from the spirit world or just where the forces are going to take me. I just know it's good to be on, make myself available here. So, okay, Skye, this is for you, and here we go. I might have given you this card last week. I can't actually remember. You are a medium, right? So you get the two for the price of one thing and everything. Because I feel this is for someone else out there as well. But I do think it's for you, Skye. And look, we've got very purpley healing colours here, but they're very deep in a stone of connection kind of way. We've got that lapis lazuli influence in the way this card's been put together. It's a Doreen Virtue card. Many of you know I'm not the biggest fan of where Doreen is at the moment, but these cards are wonderful, and I'm so happy to have them. Okay, so we've got that colour of connection. Be honest with yourself. I'm going to read it out. I'm actually a platform medium, but when I'm online, I really like to go by the cards. That seems to be how my guide comes with me. So it says, look into your heart and you will know the truth of the situation. It's safe to admit the truth to yourself, because we will support and guide you through any necessary changes. Lean upon us for courage and the strength to take good care of yourself. Focus only upon your true desires and they'll come to you upon angels' wings. I'm very happy to give you that lovely message just as it is. I really am. But the name Nicola comes through to me. Would there be two ladies in your life? They would have either passed at a very, very old age, or one of them has passed at a very old age and one is still with us at a very old age. The name Margaret is significant. I'm pretty sure that the name Margaret is actually someone in the spirit world around you. It's just that there's the hint that there's another Margaret in this life. I'm not sure, but certainly you would know of two Margarets, if I'm right, Skye. I hope I am. It's just that they're coming close now. Yes, indeed, right. And I feel that they lived the old-fashioned life until the end. Pretty much they would have had to sort of come into some kind of normal housing towards the end, because none of us can escape that. But I feel they would have understood the country ways, the country life. I just feel that's the way it would have been. It's really strong there. Well, I will try, but I'm doing a reading at the moment. Okay, I'll try and get to everyone if I can. Lean upon us for courage, Nicola. That is what's jumping out on me. Lean upon us for courage. Drink of water always helps. In terms of lean upon us for courage, which has jumped out at me, it seems like strength is needed. It seems like you're not just being asked to do something, but you've got a lot on your plate which you've willingly taken on, but you're now starting to think, oh dear, how is this going to work? not because you bit off more than you could chew, but because something else has changed, and the thing that you agreed to is now monstrously more difficult. Is what I feel. But you do have you do have what it takes, basically. So you do have the strength. So when you lean on the angels, yeah, great. When you lean on the angels, that strength will be built up. It's your own strength coming back to you, Nicola. That's what I've really got to say here. It's a bit like when we get into bed on a freezing cold night and the bedclothes are absolutely freezing. We know that within, much less than half a minute, we'll feel our own body heat coming back to us from the sheets. And that's all that's got to happen. The angels, the spirit world is a wonderful way of light to reflect. We get so much light in from them. But so much of that is a reflection of our own light coming back. So, Nicola, whatever they're asking you to do, don't be afraid to do it. Be discerning by all means, because we live in this world, don't we? And we have to make it real sometime. But if you're, are you maybe thinking about going out and serving churches or spiritual groups, Nicola? Because if you haven't already done that, I'm sure you've put it in you. I can really feel that. So do have faith if you think that you want to go in that direction. Yeah, well, go ahead with it. That's strongly my advice. I really didn't want to. About 2010, I started working in spiritualist churches. I didn't really want to. It's quite, it's not happy about that whole thing. We do get naysayers. We do get people who, well, I've been a spiritualist for 40 years and I've read a book, so I know better than the Great Spirit. Oh, dear me. Nobody knows better than the Great Spirit, Nicola, and they chose you. So you get out there and you do your thing, okay? Because if you're going to really be honest with yourself, you know you've got it and you know why it's come, yeah? You get all that, I'm delighted. Well, brilliant. I'm really glad you're here again, and I'm really glad we've done that tonight. I seem to be less in touch with the spirit world in terms of directly seeing things tonight, but we have got the message through. We've got what it takes. And I'm going to say two Margarets in the spirit world. It's almost as if they're twins, they're still family, something like that, something very close connection to them, a close connection to you, but a close connection to each other as well. And bear in mind, they're waiting in the wings, they're always there. It's just that it's your life now, as is so often the case, as is so often worries people and concerns people who come to us for readings. But they are there, they are close. And if you just visualize pulling the warmth around you like that, they'll be there, and they'll put that purple, blue, whatever. It's more blue than purple, isn't it? But I can see the purple in it, that connection, that healing light all around your head like that, and bring it into you. Well, that's a really difficult one. There was something I'd tell you I needed at Christmas, Nicola. I needed it so badly. I really needed it to happen, and it just didn't. I know it's coming probably around May, June for me, is what I've been told. Several psychics have said it. That's wonderful. I was so down. But I've started to believe now, well, as you can see, because I've just said it, I'm pretty sure it's coming in June, and life is okay. It's just not great. It's not what I really want it to be. But it's, the other side of it, though, is just after I was kind of praying to have some change in that and for things to improve, I started getting thousands more views on my YouTube channel. It took me something like 9 years to get 7,000 views, and in the 2 years since then I've gone up to 36,000. Most of it since Christmas. You're being buffered, Cindy. It's a terrible internet connection tonight. Really unfortunate. Thank you, Nick. And I'm happy for you when I think about it, because I really see you having a good time. Would a car be a difficult thing? It's always the car that knackers me with the churches, because I live miles from anywhere, and if you can't get places in the car, you just can't do the thing. That's what worries me. Am I going to get stuck? Because you get stuck on the motorway and a car breaks down. Yeah. Well, that's really hard. My car broke down yesterday. I've got to walk miles to go and get it yesterday. Really tricky. Rachel, yeah, you subscribe. There we go then. So you were in just on the beginnings of that. That's wonderful. See that video about Doreen Virtue, that was actually over a year ago. It was last January I did that. And it's the biggest video I've got. I don't know why, but I do trust Doreen Virtue's cards. I still keep trusting them because that was something that Spirit led me to. Yeah, so as I'm wrapping that one up, Nicola, I will say that trust what Spirit leads you to. Yeah, I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. You can't trust whatever Spirit leads you to as a resource like that. And if it might be difficult to stand up and start working the platform before you're totally comfortable working without cards, without tools, anything like that, then just have faith. It's an absolute miracle when you stand up and it starts coming. First night I did it, got this name Gerald, am I just imagining it? Gave it out, no, a lady knew it, bang, I did a whole service about an hour and a quarter before I ran out of energy. And that's how it could but very well be, that's how it will be for you if you go out and do it. It's always going to be that's how it could be for you unless you take that step. So, you know, don't be afraid to take that step. It's looking very good for you. It really is. So I'm going to thank you for working with me, Nicola. It's great to talk to you again. I'll give you that with there, love. And they're smiling down at you there, so you keep going. Thanks, millions. And thank you, millions, as well. And think about the millions of stars up there. I think that would probably link it to Margaret and Margaret, or at least one of the Margarets. But I am going to keep moving because, gosh, time flies. 41 minutes already. I'm not time limiting this or even looking at the clock. There's just a clock right in front of me, and it surprises me how far we've kept going. I'm just going to scroll up. Okay. Lamis Saidi. I don't know how to pronounce your name exactly, but you know who I'm saying. It's Lamis, Lamis Saidi. Okay, I'm coming to you now. I'm sorry it took a while. The spirit guides people kind of come one at a time in different ways. How does he feel about me? Okay, so this is, I feel this is a love situation outside of like the love we have for the men and women in our own family. This would be a relationship love. How does he feel about me? Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look now. Right, so really in the world, I'm going to bluster through and finish this card, and I hope you'll be able to come back and watch the video again and get this because you were waiting ever so patiently there. It starts about 40 minutes in, that's what I'll say. But there's a battle in his mind and there's a battle in your mind, and you are actually quite sensitive to each other, and even though things haven't been said, there's an undercurrent of tension. But it's not an easily resolved undercurrent of tension because it goes in different directions with both of you. I feel that you'd both be drawn to different colours in terms of healing and would need to be on different paths to experience the truth and actually the learning and the knowledge that the situation you're in now is trying to bring you. I feel there will be time apart. I feel it's not a case of whether somebody cares or doesn't care. I was just saying it's really difficult with the live stopping and starting, Lammers. It's a battle, yeah. It's a battle in your mind and a battle in his mind. Both of you are seeing two different sides to things, and it's actually making it very complicated. But there are lessons that you need to learn, which can't really be learned while you're on the same path. So I don't see this as a parting of the ways at all. But I do see this as what you might call a cooling off period, because you both need to do the hermit thing and go into yourselves to resolve the inner conflict and to understand what's going on with the other one. That's really what I'm talking about. It is all about feelings. They're conflicting feelings. That's really what I'm saying. That's where the conflict is. He's fighting a battle that you don't know about. If you can't get him to tell you about that, it's going to slow the progress down. That's the bottom line. So you've got to talk. It's really is about talking. You see this card I've pulled? We've got a really open heart chakra here. And just as you've asked me that love question, there we go. Cindy, quite possibly, but I'm going to do this for Lamis now. I'm a spiritualist medium, so quite possibly, Cindy. That matters a lot to me. But just to say this again for Lamis, I know your feed is on and off. Mine is quite a lot. I've been trying to get on live since 6:30 UK time tonight. I eventually got on 10 p.m. Because that's how long it took. But look, we've got the healing on one side. No healing colours here, but very much a clear sky, so clarity can come in, but it's about taking that time, working together a bit, talking together a bit, making something come together that way if you can. Okay, I'm going to give you that with the love of the universe. Certainly, I wish you love, light, and peace from myself. Thanks for coming in. I hope if you'd like to subscribe, Lamis, I will try and read for you again. But if you subscribe, you'll get notifications of all the feeds and things that I'm trying to do, particularly if you tap the bell. Okay. Well, not quite yet, Blah, because I'm going to Cindy. Is it Cindy Larson? Yeah, there we go, Cindy Larson. That is a name that I like that name, right? Because I really like old-fashioned organ music. It's one of my foibles, the old cinema organs. And there's this organist called Lynn Larson who's really good, but it's spelt different to you. Why am I talking and waffling, Cindy? Because I'm allowing something to come in. There's definitely something of a spirit link building up. I felt a connection when I actually saw your name coming into the chat in the first place. This is actually something very intense, I feel sure. Now I can feel a build-up of energy. I feel this is a young person, Cindy, someone who passed at a much younger age than we feel they really should have. No, ancient, I didn't actually get there, I'm afraid, but I'm far from finished yet. I'm actually with Cindy Larson at the moment. Okay. Now I feel that this person would have passed at a young age. We're there, are we? Okay. Probably that person might have enjoyed wearing a shirt, something like this. Just maybe. I don't know, but I was almost drawn to my own shirt thinking about it. And the loud colours we've got here, really loud colours, a loud kind of a personality in that way. And I feel there would have been, the person would have felt very thirsty at the time of their passing. That's what I'm thinking. I'm gasping for a drink, excuse me. And this is a male energy. It's a young man, unfortunately. A young man, though, who had some kind of understanding of meditation. I see that he wasn't far into his meditating career or anything like that, but he had some understanding of the way that people close their eyes and breathe deeply, you know. And he had some understanding that there was some magic there that we were actually finding. I've actually pulled a card as we're talking. I have yet to see how this would connect us to someone who's passed away and is coming through. But it says drink more water, and I was certainly drawn to drink more water just there. Now look at the waterfall in here. I feel this links in some way to the young man's passing. We've got to look at the tiger here. And so he is close to you when you're around animals. I don't know if you have cats or dogs. I feel this would be a domestic kind of animal. It's a tiger here, but we don't keep tigers all that close to us, or at least I hope we don't. But there is that animal link there. So when you're close with dogs, in fact, right? It's because you were drawn to the dog card at one point, I think, weren't you? Yes. Okay, so you've got dogs. Well, he's very close to you. There's one of those dogs in particular, Cindy, I feel, that stands and looks at you. You have his little dog, and it's that one. And the little dog stands and looks at you. Yeah, like still wishing that. Is this a girl dog? I feel this dog is still wishing that she could be close. Yes, we're there. Oh, yeah. Right. Well, we're in. I feel there'd be a J name. I always ask for a J. I always ask for a name, and I'm just being given the letter J at the moment. Possibly a Jason, but certainly a J name like that. So when that little dog's standing and looking at you, there is something of him with the dog actually, because he's called Joe. Great. So we have actually got a J name. Well, that's wonderful. I know we've actually got a link there. I'm delighted with that, Cindy. I'm sorry you have to wait so patiently, but it's like this when I do churches. I'm going for an hour and a half and people just kind of have to wait until I come to them. But you see, it's not my choice. It's how the spirit world works. And I know that Joe is actually close at this minute, and that's why I'm with Cindy at this minute. If I tried to go to Cindy at the beginning, because I just thought I liked the look of Cindy, I wouldn't necessarily have got what's coming now, and that's why I ask people to wait. And to be honest, I'm afraid that's why people just have to wait, because otherwise I couldn't get into the reading. Anyway, I've digressed. I'm always doing that. Just looking at this waterfall here, and I'm thinking of a musical connection, as if Joe would have liked keyboard music. Possibly even played it. It was more than a passing interest. There was something about keyboard music. That's coming as a strong feeling, and I'm thinking Hammond organ, the kind of organs that they're less popular since synthesizers came out, but many homes used to have them. I feel Joe would have had a connection to an instrument like that, would have either enjoyed playing it or would have liked the music that it made. And I haven't finished yet, because I'm putting that card down, but waterfall comes again. Definitely a link to a waterfall here, and I'm seeing some beautiful flowers at the top of that waterfall, which aren't actually being washed over the edge, They're not being washed over at all, they're just sitting pretty. And that's where, now again, someone. Now this to me is you, Cindy, this lady in this card, right, in her gold and her purple. There is a lot of gold, and I've got to tell you, you're sitting pretty. You're in a situation where you're wondering, is this really good for me? Where's this going in the future? I'm being told you're sitting pretty. You don't have to go one way or the other. You're okay. And whatever people are trying to get you to do, you just take the attitude, please, that you're okay. They need you more than you need them. That will make them focus on what they're trying to actually achieve in their own lives that bit more. And you will actually teach. It's kind of a cruel to be kind thing in a way. But you're sitting pretty, And Joe is not very far away. Really, he isn't. Okay. He can't be if he's managed to get through to me. Well, thank you, Cindy. But, so are the spirit guides, and that they've perhaps made me a kinder person in the time I've worked with them. I hope so. You can't fail to want to be on that journey. I'm going to give you that with the love of the spirit world. I'm sure I can pass on Joe's love to you as well. It's strongly there. He just draws my attention around here, so I'm sure he's sending you a heart. And I'm also seeing two symbols, a pagan Celtic symbol and a Christian cross at the same time, as if to say those things can go together. Whatever the Bible says about, don't trust mediums and things, isn't really much to do with the Bible. That's what churches say, that's what priests say. I think it's in the book of James. I must look it up because it's an interesting one. The whole idea of Jesus and the people who followed Jesus about mediumship was that Jesus was a medium. That's what they say. And that in fact anybody could do it. It was open to people. The controls the church put on these things are crazy, and the church likes us to think there are no mediums, because if you go to mediums, you're not going to a priest to ask the priest, are you? And that's their problem. Okay, so I'll give you that with our love. I'm going to take another long drink, and you drink more water as well, if you will, Cindy, because I feel there's spiritual work of some kind coming up for you. Someone you'll be able to help. Our friends in the spirit world bring people who can help us, and they also bring people that we can help. And sometimes we can get them all helping each other. It's great. So there's going to be a coming together, and I can hear that song, Come Together Over Me, by the Beatles. And I feel there might be a car crash involved, actually. Goodness me. I feel there might be a car crash involved when I think about that. I'm just going to tell you what I think it means to me. Because then I'm telling you what I'm being shown, and it might kind of sing to you some. Oh, I see what you mean about religion. Yeah, thanks, Sam. I think so too. I was going to be a priest once, and the big thing about that is you just can't be anything as kind as you can be when you're a medium, and I think that's quite important. But yes, the thought of a car crash, and I'm being shown that whole thing. It's all over YouTube, actually, about Paul McCartney being a fake Paul McCartney. Don't know where that comes in, but it just comes in at the end of that reading. Something to remember. Maybe that will come as if that doesn't mean anything to you now, Cindy, then I think something about that will be said in the next few days, and that'll just be your little reminder that he's still around you and that it's all still good, you know, because where joy is, things are good, things don't go wrong again. There is no pain, there is nothing physical, there is no time, people don't feel old or young, people don't feel, you know, unwell, anything like that. Everything is healed, and it reaches the point where healing doesn't have to be brought when people are on the other side, but healing is being sent to you all the time. Drink plenty of water to keep it flowing. I really hope that's helping. I really do, because essentially, you know, that's the job I'm here to do. And it's so good when I do it. Cindy, I keep talking about being a medium. Would you like to be a medium? Do you think you might have the gift? Are you interested in learning to read, or is it something you already do? Huh? Well, it's nice to see everyone sending love, actually. Yeah, it really is. Okay. Now then, been going an hour or so. I'm going to do one or two more at least. The energy is still there. It's kind of only just coming up to the peak, I think. And it can go on a little bit either side of the peak. Yeah, there we go. And I thank you, garden plants. And everyone who's here, I can see a kind of positive energy building up. She is interested in being a medium, right? Well, whatever you do, don't ever give up on that, Cindy. It's important. Oh, I am pretty tired, to be honest, but we've got to wait to get on and the spirit people come in. I sometimes do better when I'm tired because I'm not trying to think of clever things to say all the time and they just speak through me. But yes, Cindy, you know, stick with this. If you're really interested in being a medium, the chances are you'll be able to do something. I mean, it's true that not everyone manages it, or perhaps not everyone has the gift, is the way to say it. But I've been on many courses and I've run one or two, and I've never known anybody who wanted to be a medium that couldn't get anything at all. I've even come to think that people who come on courses to learn to be a medium, or people who come around mediums and are interested in it, are actually drawn there for that reason. So maybe there's loads of people who aren't mediums, but I think if you're drawn to it, the chances are you would be. It's very interesting because we work with thoughts that aren't our own. It stretches the mind, it stretches the imagination, and it's a wonderful thing to find that your imagination can actually help somebody practically. That's why I enjoy doing this as much as I do. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to shuffle some more. I'm actually going to take my hat off because this is another mad thing that happens in West Wales. We're in between the mountains and the sea, so it's a microclimate. And yesterday and today, it's been over 20 Celsius in the afternoons here. So we're up really hot, and I lit my fire tonight because it went cold, and it's gone hot again. And that's great, free heat, you know, but I don't have to wear a hat. You are a Virgo, you garden plants. Oh, now then, Virgo. I haven't got my astrology books in front of me, right? But Virgo, I'm just trying to remember where we are. Oh, I've got a really bad memory, I'm afraid. It's warm in Amsterdam. You're in Amsterdam, in fact. Oh, no, that is a place to be. Yeah, I haven't been to Amsterdam for a long time. I absolutely love it there. The Organ Museum, I like the Organ Museum there as well. One of my favourite things. Okay, I've got the animals deck out. There's a reading coming up for someone from the animals deck. I don't know who yet, but I'm going to scroll up the chat and have a look. Well, I'm from England as well. Ancient Roots, did you want a reading? I'm drawn to your name, Ancient Roots. This would be something along the lines of a connection to an animal in the spirit world, I believe. -16. Well, isn't it great how we link up all around the world? Eh? I want to go to Amsterdam as well, I really do. Okay. Well, I'm pulling this card for Ancient Roots. You haven't actually said you want one, I know, but I'm just being a bit naughty like that. And I've pulled one anyway, and it's Octopus. Practice shape-shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. Goodness me. Ancient, you don't have to answer this because what happens in circle stays in circle. Are you a trance medium by any chance? I mean, this to me suggests a very high level of mediumship, kind of higher than I can do. Yeah, that's what I'd do if I got there. Ah, this is true, is it, ancient? Ah, really? Really? Okay. I've been through something like this. But as you know, then, when you're a trance medium, you don't always know what happened when you come back. Hmm? So that can make it difficult to make progress. But also is that in 2016, right, there was this course coming up that I was going on, being taught by some mediums who've been at it since the 1950s. And I had a feeling it was going to be amazing, and it really was. And a few days before, I started developing a Welsh accent, which isn't my accent because I'm an Englishman, you know. And I have this accent, I get it totally different, and my face would start changing when I look in the mirror. And when I actually got to do this trance mediumship thing, that was the voice that came out. So they were getting me ready for it. It's a good job I live on my own because I would just never have dared rehearse those voices or do those things because of how crazy it looks if you're not a spiritualist or if you don't understand that people are doing mediumship. But I went on the course and apparently I was gone for 40 minutes giving out clairvoyant messages. And this is so important, actually, isn't it? That we need to be sure that the spirit guides who come in are actually coming in love and light and are actually here with the full authority of the angels and our guardians, our guides and our gatekeepers. We can't trust it's true, but we have to be able to give up control, so we have to be comfortable with that. We have to be happy with that. And so the octopus now, I'm starting to see, would this mean that you're getting a tap on the shoulder constantly from different spirit personages? I feel that you're actually physically feeling this tapping on the shoulder. Yeah, well, you know as well as I do, they're trying to get through. Why they're trying to get through, only you could know. But actually, look, drink more water. They keep telling me. So every time I lift this up, I want you to drink 10 times this much water, okay? Because water links you to the ancient Celtic energy, where water was almost God, the way it was seen in those days, because of its cleansing properties. So there's water and there's the turquoise of speaking your own truth. And you really do want to be speaking your own truth and being yourself, no matter how much the spirit people are coming through. But that looks to me like, when they're telling you to practice shape shifting, it's going to be good. And I think I must have been practicing shape shifting to do the voice as well. So perhaps it's coming in for me. You never know. You never know. There we go. Bit of Welsh for you. Coming up very soon, it's going to be Gwyl Dewi, which is it's St David's Day in Wales, and it's the time of the daffodil. And that has come to me also to give out at this moment, just that thought of daffodils. And I think I want to give you that daffodil basically with the love of spirit, because yes, I am actually going to move on. Blah, yeah, I'm coming to you, blah, I really am. What happened to the voice when it goes? I can't keep it up for very long, see, because I am not from Wales, I just live here, and that lady isn't from this part of Wales either. Great fun. Okay, blah, we're here. I'm with you again. Now then, this is nice. I feel there's a healing thing coming in because there's a lot of purple in what I'm seeing here. It's a deck I've already used tonight, but it's a different card. It actually makes me think of the whole thing of be honest with yourself, as I pulled a minute ago. But this blah is for you. And look at this beautiful woman. Now, I am only guessing, right? I can't really tell because only 99.8% of my subscribers are women. But I reckon, Bly, you would be of the female persuasion, and you're being asked to really believe in your own beauty as we look in this card. Because the first thing that strikes me is how stunningly gorgeous this. I mean, we've all got kinds of women that we like the look of, and I really fancy her. I mean, she looks really nice, doesn't she? Okay, so just calm down, Twig. Let's just, calm down here and look at it. Focus on service. Doesn't say anything about believing in your beauty here, but we will get to where the link is. Well, okay, and is it that you don't believe that you're attractive? You don't believe, right, that's a difficult one. I'll tell you a little story, blah. In 1990, I had a really big stroke, right? And I couldn't have I couldn't start a relationship, meet anybody, anything like that. because I lost my voice completely. I had to learn to talk again. And there were a couple of years when, yeah, I'm sure I had plenty of good things about me, but I couldn't go out there and meet someone because I couldn't talk to them when I got there. That's lifted, that's changed, and if there's something that's holding you back in that sense, I'm sure that'll change as well. But this is more not believing that you have that beauty, and it's a great it's a great pity because you do. And look at that unicorn, look at the beauty in the unicorn, you know. Every ordinary horse that's covered in horse muck and rolling in the mud has got every bit as much beauty and as much spiritual capability as that unicorn has got. So look at those rainbow colours, right? Spread your wings. Are you thinking about mediumship or a career in spiritual of any kind? Possibly even towards healing? That's what I'm thinking for you. Because look, let me read I always read the words out, and I haven't read the words out for you yet. Your soul desires only joyfully to serve and to swim in a constant stream of bliss. This stream continuously feeds you everything you need. Put your entire focus upon staying in this stream of giving and receiving in every situation and in all that you do. And I want you to visualize yourself as being that beautiful person that you really are. And your friends are telling me you're very good looking. And this card suggests it very strongly to me as well. You see, to get any kind of spiritual progress, you're giving in. Have you really? Oh no. Is that Psychic Today TV by any chance? Wherever that is, right, you could do quite good work. You know, you could work for one of the better sites. That's what I'm saying. I think Psychic Today TV would be good for you. Okay, something. Oh, Kuma. All right. Yeah. Keep going. Right. I've been on Kuma, and eventually I got on Psychic Today TV, and I actually turned it down because the rules were too strict. I just could not do mediumship in that situation. But you have got a lot of you've got the ability, and your guides have got a lot of power behind the ability that you've got. Put that all together, it's going to be dynamite. But I think I've started a spiritualist church somewhere in the world tonight. I'm not really sure, but loads of people discovering their gifts, and you all seem to know each other, which is brilliant. Yes, please do ask a question. Yes, I'm all ears, as you can see. It takes a minute to type, doesn't it? As I think about the way they've talked about staying in a stream, think about a stream of money. That's what, money is needed to do all these things. Okay, well, hey, great to see you, Angie. I may have gone, right? I don't usually go for more than about an hour and a quarter, an hour and a half, but I'll be back soon, and I'm not going to make it a whole week. I realised tonight I might not have actually got on at all, so I'm not going to make it a whole week in between. I'm just going to come on as and when I can. Most definitely next Wednesday, but other times as well. Then, does O miss me and will he reach out? Well, the answer to both of those is yes. It would seem to be some way distant though, and I haven't got a card in my hand at this moment. In fact, just a second. Let's just bring this in. I think it's time for some crystal ball here. So yes, he does miss you. Yes, he will reach out, but there's a deal of guilt. What I'm thinking is an old, it might be from Shakespeare, I can't remember, but a lot of people know this expression. The quality of mercy is not strained, and it's not actually about mercy, but the quality of his feelings, shall we say, are a bit there's a certain amount of guilt there, and he needs to move beyond that before he can reach out in a genuine way. So yes, he is going to reach out. Yes, things are going to change in a fairly short time, but it's going to be a journey. And you want an explanation, yeah? You really want an explanation. I wouldn't let it go any further unless you get an explanation, because there's part of this that confuses you. And if that isn't healed, if that doesn't go somewhere, it can't change and it can't improve. Blah, you're very welcome. You're all very welcome. I love doing this. No problems at all. Okay, and I'm enjoying working with this fluorite ball. So I'm also going to mention fluorite here because I was very drawn to it. Fluorite is a stone which does not like resistance among its other properties. That's what I'm really drawn to. We've got the green energy here, and that resistance thing and the thought of the green energy is just nature. There's not much you can do to prevent nature from taking over. I live in between 3 farms. Good friend of mine was stampeded on by cattle. Trying to calm nature, 9 times out of 10, it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Well, Blar, I've got the crystal ball in my hand, and she's all answering questions tonight. You are drawn, and you practice healing energy. Great. Just keep it going. In a sense, it's all the same thing. I often find that what I do on the platform as a medium, and I hope what I'm doing tonight is bringing healing to people. It's just that this is particularly what I do. Why? Well, now then, I don't know how well people would know this outside of Britain, but there was a book that was very popular in England, and I think it's known in America as well, called 1984 by George Orwell. And in 1984, thank you, Cindy. I hope so, and I know you'll be able to bring that kind of healing to people as well, because it travels. It keeps on traveling as it comes out from here. Well, thank you. I do hope there are kind of spirit guides with me. 1980, read that. Okay, right. So in that book, right, the world is run by a politician called Big Brother, and the picture of Big Brother doesn't actually look like it is anybody at all. It's just a composite picture, and there's an eye in everyone's house, and you have to stand in front of the eye and show the eye what's in your pocket so you can get in trouble, and everyone's reporting each other. And the slogan is Big Brother is watching you. And so the idea here is Twig Brother is watching you, but in a very peaceful way. I live in the country. I make things out of sticks and twigs all the time. And I try to be brotherly if I can, because I'm sure I've got a spirit guide who is a monk, who is around me all the time. Okay, I'm going to do one more reading tonight, ladies and gents, because I can feel the energy dropping, and I'm going to... Where are we now? So, Sam, a card. Yes, you can, Sam. I'm coming to you. Okay. I'm not getting rid of the fluorite ball. I'm just putting it to one side because look, I'll show you my table. My table isn't very big here. That's the thing. So I'm going to put the crystal ball away. Sam. And we're back with the tarot deck almost instantly. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Guys, if anybody hasn't been able to get a message tonight, I'm so sorry. I will keep on doing mediumship. I tend to feel a very strong connection to doing mediumship on YouTube. Up until last Sunday, I didn't know if it would work because I didn't know if this was where my guide was bringing me. Excuse me, but the happenstances have been great. And the happenstances are going to be really good for you as far as I can tell in this card. Because what we've got here, Sam, is the High Priestess. This is another very significant card for people who are about to embark on a spiritual journey. These pillars here are very important in the Tree of Life, the Kabbalah, that understanding of things. And the Tree of Life comes so strongly into spiritualism and into actually any degree of spiritual practice, because it happens to be the Kabbalistic, the early Jewish way of expressing what is a universal truth. Now, the spiritual realms are something that are hidden from us, but that we can see glimpses of in this life. Most of us tune them out, hopefully, and I know I tune a lot of them out, we can't help it, but hopefully as we walk through life and we're listening to what our guides are telling us and we're being drawn along that way, we get little glimpses of it. And a glimpse of the spiritual life is almost what's represented here. It's behind a curtain. We can't see what's behind the curtain, and we have to take that leap of faith to actually be able to move forward into it. She's wearing the colour of turquoise, the colour of speaking your truth, and that's something you would need to do. There's some truth you need to speak out, Sam, to actually come out and tell somebody. It's not like a pent-up anger. It's something that's blocking anything from moving forward until you can get it talked about. And it's not your fault, but you may have to do something to stimulate the conversation. But don't fear it, because Whatever's behind this curtain is good. The high priestess is here, keeping watch over it. She's got the moon, she's got the sun, complete control over the forces of nature and everything, because she is the high priestess and she is in touch. She's got her roots in the ground. Do you know about grounding and protection, Sam? We imagine roots coming out of our feet, going down into the ground, wrapping around the earth's core and circulating, but always holding us tight down to the ground. And they're elastic. If we want to move around, if we want to do something, we can do anything we want. But no one else can knock us over because we've got our feet in the ground. It sounds mad, I know, but we visualize that happening, and it's surprising. It's almost as if other people can see it on us, colleagues who are trying to tell us that we're no good and they're going to have our job or something. People who are overly competitive just kind of back off. People tend to take a chill pill, and then we only get problems coming up that we can actually solve. Excuse me a second. So, also, healing and flowers need to come into your life. I feel you need to demand an explanation as well, Sam. I think that's where we're going. There's one more thing I want to show you in this card, and it's the writing here. I've no idea if it would even come out on the camera, but it says there, Torah, which is the Torah, which, and because there's Jewish symbolism in this, the Torah is the Jewish holy book, as far as I know it. Forgive me if I've got anything wrong, but these letters also appear in tarot. So it's spirituality, kind of spiritual influence, and the ability to work with spiritual influence. That's what I'm pointing out to you, Sam. Just don't be afraid to walk in between the pillars. These are obstacles which aren't actually in your way, which you will actually be able to walk through. It looks as if there's a gate there, Sam, and it looks as if there's an impenetrable gate. Questions you have that you can't get further than. You have, really. Just keep going on that journey, right? Whatever makes you think you can't get past these two pillars, you will. You can go in there, because some of that high priestess energy is actually you. Some of it is actually spiritual energy and the very high divine energy which is close around you. Yeah. You've gone back to healing. Well, whatever direction you're going in is good. I feel that very strongly. It's just that you want to go that little bit further. Don't feel that you can't. Has someone made you feel that you'll never be quite as much of a good healer as you would like to be? Something like that. They're wrong. You can be good. You can be excellent, because you do have it in you. And when we're channeling divine energy, there is no question about it, really. I know on Reiki 1, they teach that anybody can work with Reiki. And that is true. The first Reiki, when I actually did that Reiki 1, a wonderful thing happened, and it taught me a lot about judging a book by its cover and that kind of thing. Among the four of us there, and two of them were a mother and son, and this lady had had a very bad experience. She'd been mugged and put in hospital, and she couldn't go out without her son, and she'd really wanted to do this Reiki course, so he came with her and sat on the course with her. You're a Reiki ma, here we go, talking about Reiki. Well, Sam, you might get some nugget of something out of this. You'll already know this, because I'm not a Reiki master. I've got Reiki too, but I haven't gone as far with it as you have. But here we go, right? This 18-year-old lad came along, and he was wearing like football clothes. That's like soccer, as you know, we call it football here, but 11 men on each side in a round ball. He was a soccer fan, and as the course progressed, he didn't really seem to be taking much notice or taking any interest in it. But I mean, it was lovely that he'd come to make sure that his mother got the healing, and in that sense, he was very much a part of it. And then we went on the guided meditation, and the Reiki master left us to go on and do our own, allow us to wander off into that meditation. And we came back, and we were each asked to say what had happened. And everyone, including this lad's mother, we hadn't really seen that much, and we kind of talked a bit, and actually great things came out, but it was one of those things where we couldn't see the nose on our face. Very intuitive when you're healing people, because you've got spirit guides with you. That's it. They're friends, they're relatives come round, and they care about you then afterwards, after all that. So that helps so much for that. So anyway, we get to this 18-year-old lad, and I'm expecting him to say, through. And what he actually said was, well, I saw this light and it was as if I was walking through a forest and then there was an angel. He hadn't been into it at all, but he'd gone on the guided meditation and it was all there, absolutely all there. Sam, if you get a chance to work with a crystal ball, please do. I've just been told that would be a good thing for you to do. I feel you have a crystal ball somewhere in your house. That will do. It doesn't have to be a great, big, massive one. Smaller crystals have a higher vibrational rate, so they get their work done so much more effectively. And in that sense, things work. In that sense, I keep saying in that sense. Now then, somebody kindly mentioned a while ago that I'm looking very tired. I'm feeling very tired, folks. It's not your fault. It's not Spirit's fault. So I'll tell you what happened yesterday. I live in the countryside, miles from anywhere. I went shopping in the car and the car broke down. And I had to walk a long way through all my schedules. So, had a lot to do and stuff. But I love reading. It invigorates me. I am physically tired, but I'm uplifted. I'm going to have a good sleep after this. And I hope and I pray that all you will have a good sleep with the angels close to you, which I know they are. We've had a great bunch on here tonight, folks. I hope you'll join me again. I'm going to try and do this every Sunday. It seems like a good regular time to do it. But I'm saying here and now, I commit myself, I'm going to try my best to get on Wednesday as well. It's a rural connection down a copper wire, no promises. But what I can promise you is that obviously I can get on live quite often, and that's what I'm going to do. Thank you very much for joining me. I've really loved this evening. I'm so glad I came on. I'm so glad I saw everyone. Love and light to everyone. It's been an amazing experience for me as well, Mina. I'm really glad you're here. Thanks. It's been lovely to work with everyone. Well, I'm going to drift off on a cloud of love now, which has been a hit me for a long time, and now at last I can float away on a cloud of love. Hope everyone else does as well. I know all our spirit people are around. They're going to step back into the wings, They come forward when they've got something to say, but it's your life now, it's my life now. We've got to make the best of it. Breaks my heart, really, but we must never forget they are there. They're absolutely always there. They're sending positive experiences into our lives. They're tapping us on the shoulder, pointing us in the right direction. It never stops. It's just that from the age of about 1.5, we're all trained to dismiss the thought that there could be anything that science doesn't dismiss. I certainly don't dismiss it. Yeah, Sam, good night to you. Sweet dreams all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. If you haven't enjoyed it, you know what to do. It's coolio. It all adds to my user engagement. I'm happy, hope you are too. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, folks. I'll be posting an astrology video quite early in the morning. I'm looking forward to it. Rest well, everyone. So important to do that. I recommend take a drink of water before you go to bed as well, because there's been spiritual happenings. I'm going to as well. So I'll give you that with Spirit's love, big light, everything. See you soon. Have a good one, folks. Now, all I've got to do now is try and remember how to end a live stream, and that is easier said than done. I can share, mute the microphone or cancel. How do you end up? I can't just leave the camera on. Hang on a second. Let's take matters into my own hand. Right.